maybe I'll be the first to say it right now again. We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
Deeply troubled. And the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy. And the governor, Tennessee, the governor is happy. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington. I would have preferred going to Chicago. I had a man in the head of a big railroad. They're doing a merger, and he wanted to come see me and all that stuff. And I asked him, because, it's one of the largest train companies, maybe the largest, so you can figure out who it is. Okay, Union Pacific. And he was in my office, and he started off 45 years ago with the railroad. It's such a great story. Sir, I'm a railroader. That's the kind of guy that should ride it, as opposed to a Wall Street guy that destroys the railroad, but he's good financially. Right? And he was a very impressive guy. And I said, so what do you think? Where should we go next as a city? Because we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do a few at a time. But we're going to straighten out the crime in these cities. He said, sir, Memphis would be good because he's on the board of FedEx. He said, when I walk 1 block to my hotel, they won't allow me to do it. They put me in an armored vehicle with bulletproof glass to take me 1 block. He said, it's so terrible. I said, let me ask you a question. So we're going to Memphis. I'm just announcing that now, and we'll straighten that out.
National Guard?
National Guard and anybody else we need. And by the way, we'll bring in the military, too, if we need.
On to Memphis. This is important because Memphis was on the list of the most crime-filled cities in America. And a lot of talking points of the left was, why are you only sending people to Chicago and these Democratic or let's just say blue cities, right? Which is funny because it's still ran by a mayor as a Democrat, but the governor is Republican. And so the reason why this is interesting is because they had the mayor on NBC and they questioned him and they were trying to get him to speak against the governor of Tennessee and against Trump. Even though he is making strides, I think they said crime is down like 20-something%. He was like, yeah, we could use their help. We could use the resources. So everyone asks for more money, of course, right? But also we can use the National Guard for different type of things. And then this is what happened.
Clarity. I've talked to a lot of mayors across the country. I've talked to Mario Bowser of Washington, D.C. We've spoken with Mayor Johnson. I'm wondering, all the mayors say the same thing. They say, look, we want the federal resources from the federal government and that the federal government has cut the budgets. Do you want the National Guard in your city?
No, we definitely want a partnership with the federal government on providing the resources that we need. We have seen significant reduction in crime over the last 2 years, and we want to keep that trend going. And we feel like those resources that can be invested in things like the prevention and intervention and the groups that we have out on the streets that are working with these individuals and changing the course of their lives. That's one way. And also investing with our law enforcement partners. That's the way to really change the course of crime in our communities. But we understand that a decision has been made that the federal government and the governor want to send the National Guard. And our goal is to make sure that we have an opportunity to work with them and align what their activities look like when they come into this community.
Now, you notice how she was like, we know you want the money, but you sure you want the National Guard? You sure? All right. This is where it gets good, y'all. This is where it really gets good. So next, a guy is going to ask this man questions. First, he's going to ask, how long has y'all had that same governor, right? And he's going to be like, well, why did the governor take so long to make anything happen? And then he's going to be like, well, why are y'all going federal, right, instead of going state? Trying to get him to speak against his governor. on on the news, right? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to influence him, right? And they're confused because he was able to articulate what he wanted to do and without bending his character and who he is as a man. I thought that was really good.
Mr. Mayor, help me understand, because I'm a little bit confused. How long has the Republican governor of the state of Tennessee been the governor?
I think Governor Lee has been in office for about 7 years. Next year will be his last year.
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. And he's just noticing now that Memphis has a crime problem. So much so under his watch, he did nothing about it. I'm really helping me understand how, before you get to federal resources, as a former state official, statewide official, lieutenant governor of my state, I know that if there was a particular area that had to deal with crime, and certainly there were parts of Maryland that did, the first call for help was not from the federal government. It was working with the city, working with the county, working with the municipalities to create solutions in our state. And if it was beyond our capacity, sir, then maybe we would call for federal help. But so I don't understand what's different. It wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that Memphis is.
Now, this is where it gets good, right? This is where it gets really good. They're gonna pull the ace in the hole, right? Is it because Memphis is black? And the dude's like, well, first of all, I'm proud to be a mayor of a black city. I think he said the Memphis, which is not true. I think Detroit I think has the most concentration of black people that live there. But he said Memphis does. But anyway, and he kind of sidestepped that question. But anyway, they're going to use a race card, which is honestly, as we grow up, it's more disappointing. It is. It's just very disappointing.
So I don't understand what's different. It wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that Memphis is a largely black municipality, would it?
Yeah. So Memphis is the largest majority black city in the nation. It's something that I wear as a badge of honor, and I think it's something that we should be proud of. I will say that Governor Lee, certainly he can speak for himself, but I will say that they have been partners with the city on a number of initiatives they've supported with Tennessee Highway Patrol, helping us on our interstates, and they provide significant funding in the form of violent crime intervention funds that help with some of those intervention and prevention strategies that I talked about. I'll have to let him speak to his position on the National Guard itself, but my goal as mayor of the city is to make sure that whatever decisions that are made that are outside the control of me as mayor, that we figure out how to turn it into a win for our community, and that's my goal in this situation.
I want you to take a.
So that didn't work, right? So first they questioned him straight out. You're gonna bring the National Guard in, right? Then the dude comes in. Well, when I was in office, we ran it this way. We didn't never ask for the National Guard. Okay. Now this is gonna get really good. So now they're gonna bring on another mayor that's in Tennessee, and he's gonna speak against the National Guard and Trump's help. And then they're gonna see if this kind of pushes him to say what they want him to say. Democrats are so funny, bro.
Listen to what the mayor of Shelby County, Tennessee, had to say about this news.
To have individuals with military fatigue, semi-automatic weapons, and armored vehicles patrolling our streets is way too far. It's anti-democratic and it's anti-American. The way you can take away democratic liberties is to make sure that people don't have a way to protest. And the way you do that is to patrol the city with military personnel. The other way is you stifle the military in such a way that the military begins to comply even when the orders are unlawful.
Mayor Young, do you share those concerns?
Well, I think there are many in the community that are concerned and they're scared. They want to know how things are going to look in our city if and when this takes place. And so my goal as mayor is to make sure that we continue the dialogues with the governor and with the federal government to make sure that we have a clear understanding of where they're going to be patrolling, what are they going to be wearing, what times will they be assigned for the work. Those are all dialogues that we're looking forward to having over the next week or two as we get deeper into this discussion.
Mayor, I guess I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So that didn't work, right? So now, so that didn't work, right? They couldn't. They've tried almost everything, right? So now they're gonna go straight confrontational. Straight confrontational with this. So what I mean by that is that they're going to this last attempt to change his mind, right? Because all what this whole video was about was trying to change his mind. Is now they're going to say, well, I talked to other mayors and other people in office, and I know what you're doing and the work you're putting in already. Do you really think you need the National Guard, right? Kind of putting it to where they're saying, are you being forced? Are you being pressured for this, right? Kind of wink if you need help type of technique. And we don't see how it goes.
What in Washington, D.C., where, you know, the chairman and I, we live in D.C. I'm in New York right now with Ms. Menendez here. But in Washington, D.C., the National Guard is picking up trash. They are literally, ANC commissioners have sent out emails asking for suggestions from the citizens of the district about what beautification projects the National Guard can participate in. So what exactly can the Guard do for you in Memphis, Tennessee? Like, you got a trash problem? I thought some of the things that you have been working on in terms of working with the violence interrupters, talking to the gangs, those kind of things are things that I'm familiar with that you have been engaged on, that have worked to bring some of to try to get your arms around the issue of crime in your city. What is the National Guard going to do for you? And I'm asking in this way because I hear you saying it's your understanding they're coming, but what they gonna do when they get there?
Well, I mean, we're still working to figure that out, but I certainly have a list of things that I think they could help with. We do have issues with blight in our community, and if there's a way for them to help support our team on that front, we have a deficit of about 300 to 500 officers that we need. And while they won't be serving in a law enforcement capacity, there may be things that they can do on major events and help coordinate traffic and things like that when we have big crowds as we get into football season with the University of Memphis or Grizzlies game. So I think that as we have conversations, we can certainly find ways to use their support to back up the efforts of our Memphis Police Department and our Shelby County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, man, they did not listen. National Guard's picking up trash. Is what you're gonna have them do? I mean, if it helps a city, yes. Like what? That's important. Oh man, so everyone's like, dang, why he didn't go to Chicago? He didn't go to Chicago, right, fully because the governor of Illinois has to agree. And because the governor of Tennessee agreed, he can actually go in there and actually, do more than just get illegals. That's all he can really do in Chicago right now. And that's what he's doing. Oh man. It's CJ. I hope you had a good time. I had a great time. I'm out.